Being labeled as a useless daughter-in-law felt like a curse, a cruel judgment that she wielded against me at every opportunity. Her mocking laughter rang through the phone, sharp and biting, leaving me speechless. The arrogance in her tone, and the way she blatantly disregarded me sent a surge of anger coursing through my veins. She had always treated me as if I were nothing, but this time, her cruelty pierced deeper. As the rest area blurred in the rearview mirror, I realized the stark truth. I was utterly alone. Just moments ago, I was surrounded by family, yet now their absence felt deliberate, a punishment. Confusion gripped me, followed swiftly by a wave of fear. Her cold, cutting words echoed relentlessly in my mind. You who just sit around the house don't deserve to stay at a hotel. My chest tightened as anger mixed with the ache of humiliation. No matter how much effort I poured into my work, she never acknowledged it. I managed an inn with precision and dedication, transforming it into a thriving business, but to her, I was nothing more than a convenient scapegoat. On the other end of the phone call, I could hear the laughter of her relatives, their mockery amplifying my feelings of isolation. Her influence had poisoned the family, turning even my husband into a passive bystander. He stood silent, unwilling to defend me. That betrayal, that blatant dismissal of my worth, was the final straw. Her sneering face, those contemptuous eyes, her obsession with belittling me felt suffocating. Something inside me shifted, snapping like a tightly wound string that had finally reached its limit. A fierce determination took root, and for the first time, I was ready to fight back. I drew a deep breath, gripping my phone tightly. My fingers trembled, not with fear, but with the force of long-suppressed rage. My heart raced as I dialed a number. My voice, though calm, carried the weight of my resolve. Hello, I said, steady and purposeful. I need a favor. This was the turning point, the moment I began reclaiming my life. And it was also the first step toward an unexpected revenge. The unfolding betrayal. My name is Maya Smith. I'm 40 years old, a manager at a large corporation, and a dedicated professional. I met my husband Tom in our late 30s. After 6 months of dating, we married. In the beginning, he was everything I dreamed of, attentive, kind, and loving. But as time passed, his indifference grew like a shadow over our relationship. Conversations became rare, and his once loving gaze now skimmed past me. Despite the cracks in our marriage, I adjusted, convincing myself that this was simply how life was. One evening, as I was cleaning up after dinner, Tom spoke up unexpectedly. Hey Maya, I need to talk to you, he said, his tone casual. I turned to him hopeful. It was rare for him to address me directly these days. What's up? I replied, smiling. My family's planning a trip, about 20 of us. They want me to handle the hotel reservations and plan the itinerary. Wow, that's a big task, I said, curious. Yeah, but I'm swamped with work, and you have more days off than I do. So, you take care of it. Oh, and find a cheap place. I'm paying for everyone. If you're coming, pitch in too. I opened my mouth to argue. I worked hard too. My responsibilities didn't end when I clocked out. But I swallowed my frustration. Spending time with his family wasn't appealing, but I wanted to help for him. Okay, I agreed. Thanks. Just pick a place that won't embarrass us, he added before retreating to his phone. After finishing the dishes, I went to the bedroom and made a call to a trusted contact. My voice was calm but resolute. Hi, it's me. I need a favor. The mask unveiled. A few days later, Tom's parents arrived at our apartment. He insisted we invite them over to discuss the travel plans. As soon as they stepped inside, Elaine, his mother, made a beeline for the kitchen. She began rummaging through my cabinets, as if they were her personal pantry. Maya, are you seriously eating gourmet instant curry from a hotel? She scoffed, pulling out a packet. How indulgent. You should be cooking for Tom, instead of living off junk like this. Before I could respond, she casually slipped the curry packets into her bag. She acted like this every visit, helping herself to groceries, canned goods, even decorative items. Once, she took a set of dishes without so much as a word. Her justification? Anything in my son's house is fair game. Rick, my father-in-law, chuckled as Elaine continued her spree. Finally, she sat down, and I presented the travel details. I handed her my phone, showing sleek images of the luxurious hotel I had booked. Elaine's lips curled into a smirk. Well, aren't you getting above your station? How are you affording this? I negotiated a group discount under Tom's name. I replied evenly. Her eyes narrowed. I thought you were useless, but I guess you can handle something. Her words stung, but I didn't let it show. What Elaine didn't know was that the hotel wasn't just a booking. It was mine. The luxury property was part of my family's business, a venture I had secretly managed. Years ago, my family's modest and had gained media attention, and demand surged. We expanded into high-end hospitality, and I had overseen every detail of the new venture. Tom knew my family owned a business, but he had no idea I ran a prestigious hotel. I kept it hidden, fearing his jealousy. He once resented my income surpassing his, so I downplayed my career. Don't worry, I said with a polite smile. The place is beautiful. You'll love it. Elaine scoffed. We'll see. The day of the trip arrived. As Tom drove, Elaine resumed her usual jabs. Tom, isn't it time you replaced this junk car? You shouldn't be driving around in something so shabby. Tom sighed. I'd love to, but it's not in the budget. Oh, I'll pay for it, Elaine declared dramatically. Really? Thanks, Mom, Tom replied eagerly. Her words stung, a reminder that I was invisible to them. Moments later, she turned to me. If only there were grandchildren along for this trip. But I guess it's too late for that. I stared out the window, swallowing my pain. Tom, I finally said softly. I need to use the restroom. Can we stop? Elaine rolled her eyes. Couldn't you have gone before we left? You're always holding us up. Tom pulled into a service area, and I hurried inside. As I waited in line, my mind churned. This trip wasn't going to break me. It was time to show them who I truly was. As I stepped out of the restroom, I glanced around, expecting to see Tom's car waiting where it had been parked. Instead, the space was empty. Confused, I scanned the area, thinking they might have moved to another spot. I dialed Tom's number, but there was no answer. My calls went unanswered repeatedly, and an unsettling realization began to creep in. Trying to stay calm, I decided to call Elaine. She picked up after the first ring, her tone thick with mockery. Oh, Maya. Still at the service area? She asked, pretending to be concerned. Yes, I am, I replied evenly, trying to hide the shaking in my voice. Did something happen? Where are you? We're at the hotel, of course, she said, her voice dripping with disdain. Trips like this are for family, Maya. You're just a tag-along, not really part of us. Her words cut deeper than any wound. Elaine, you've been spoiled long enough by what my son provides, she interrupted, her laughter echoing through the phone. In the background, I could hear the laughter of other family members, their mockery amplifying my isolation. Before I could respond, she hung up. I stood frozen, my phone in hand, feeling a storm of emotions, anger, humiliation, and betrayal. I had worked tirelessly to organize this trip, sacrificing my own responsibilities and time, only to be discarded like an afterthought. But wallowing in self-pity wasn't my style. As a hotel manager, I had faced crises more challenging than this. Taking a deep breath, I steeled myself. I dialed the hotel where the family was staying. Hello, this is Maya. I have a reservation under the name Smith. Can you confirm it, please? After verifying the reservation, I made another call. Hi, it's Maya, I said to my assistant. I need a ride to the hotel. I'm stranded at a service area. Of course, Miss Smith, she replied immediately. A car will be there shortly. Relieved, I hung up. My composure remained intact, but I vowed this betrayal would not go unanswered. At the hotel, meanwhile, Elaine sat smugly in the hotel's dining area, surrounded by family. She gloated as they praised the luxurious accommodations. This hotel is famous nationwide, Rick remarked, sipping his wine. Tom, you really went all out. Well, Maya handled the arrangements, Tom admitted, his voice strained. But I'm covering everything. That's what a good husband does. Elaine leaned back, her lips curling into a satisfied smirk. She managed something decent for once, I suppose, she muttered. The next morning, as they prepared to check out, the family gathered in the lobby. Assuming the bill had already been settled, the hotel manager approached them with a calm but firm demeanor. Excuse me, here's the final bill. he said, handing Tom the detailed statement. Tom glanced at the amount, his face draining of color. The total was astronomical, far exceeding his expectations. Wait, Tom stammered. Why is this so much? I thought there was a group discount. The manager replied politely. The discounted rate was contingent on the owner's presence. Tom's confusion deepened. The owner? Who's that? That would be Maya Smith, your wife, the manager said, his tone professional. A stunned silence fell over the family. Elaine's grip on her purse tightened, as though the gesture could somehow erase the charges. You mean to tell me Maya owns this hotel? Tom stuttered, his disbelief palpable. The manager nodded. Yes. Since she wasn't present, the discount is void. The total amount is due now. Elaine's face twisted in disbelief. Tom, do something. This must be a mistake. Tom stood frozen, his eyes darting around the room as whispers spread among the relatives. You didn't know she owned this place? And she paid for everything, someone murmured. Before Tom could respond, the hotel doors opened and I walked in. The staff greeted me warmly. Welcome back, Miss Smith, the manager said with a respectful smile. Thank you, I replied. Is everything ready? Yes, just as you instructed. I approached the family, my heels clicking confidently against the marble floor. Their shocked faces were a sight to behold. Good morning, I said, my voice calm yet commanding. I trust you're enjoying the accommodations? Elaine recovered first, her tone sickly sweet. Maya dear, we had no idea you own this place. I'm sure you didn't, I replied coolly. But I hope my outsider status doesn't bother you now. Tom opened his mouth to speak, but I held up a hand. No, you listen. You left me stranded because I wasn't family enough. Yet I'm the reason you're here. And I paid for everything. Now about that bill, I gestured to the manager. No discounts. Consider it payment for the years of disrespect. I turned and walked away, leaving them to deal with the consequences of their actions. A new chapter. That day marked a turning point. Back in my suite, I packed my bags, ready to leave not just the hotel but Tom and his toxic family. I filed for divorce soon after, choosing myself over a loveless marriage. My energy shifted to expanding my business, opening more luxury inns, and living a life free from judgment. News of my divorce and Tom's financial troubles spread, but I didn't dwell on it. In the quiet evenings that followed, I'd raise a glass to myself, grateful for the strength to walk away and build a life on my own terms. Happiness, I realized, wasn't something to wait for. It was something I had to claim. And I wasn't looking back.